Well guys, heading out today to some antique stores. Never been to these before myself. It's in a new town out east of me, and we're going to take a look and see what we might find. I'm going to go to about 4 or 5 different ones today. I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but I'm just curious what I might come away with. Why don't we check it out together, shall we?
Let's trust you how to.
Alright guys, here we are going into the very first store. This was a thrift store. This wasn't an antique store. This was some sort of a charity organization thrift store here. As I walk in, I noticed a bunch of children's toys and stuff out there. I really didn't spend much time because that's not really what I was on the lookout for. But I came in and instantly I noticed, man, there's tons of books, tons of clothing. I saw these golf clubs, and oftentimes, I'm looking for stuff that's small, guys, because it's cheaper and easier to ship. That's just what I look for. I've found that the more I do this, the longer I do this, and the more knowledge I obtain, the more things I know the value of and know I could turn for a profit. But that doesn't mean that I buy everything that I see that I could make a profit on. I feel like that's kind of like a secondary tier of learning how to do this reselling, is to see things that you know you could make money on, but choose not to buy them. Some of you are going to say, well, why? Well, that's just kind of what I choose to do. I like to get certain categories of things, and they have to be making enough money or else it's not worth it to me. Now, lately, I always look at jewelry. We'll come back to that, but lately I've been learning about certain types of toys, stuffed animals, and various things. So I thought maybe I'll take a look here real quick and kind of sift through, see if anything pops up real quickly. But I didn't want to sit there and just dig through these bins for a long time because I had several other places I was going to get to during the day. So if I can find some action figures or maybe some Build-A-Bears or some stuff like that off the get-go, then that's an indication to me that I should probably spend a little bit more time in this area. But usually if I do a cursory glance, I look through and I don't see anything of real heavy value, then that's pretty oftentimes that's indicative of kind of what the rest of the lot is. Not to say that there isn't a gem down in there and I might have missed out, right? That's just sort of the risk that you take if you don't spend tons of time. But I didn't have a whole lot of time in this area. Rolling in to the next store here. This is quite a large looking place on the outside, but then on the inside there wasn't a ton of stuff, but it was laid out pretty nicely. And honestly, I found lots of things in here that interested me. I did not end up buying a whole lot. Part of it was because of time, and part of it was I didn't see stuff that had like a fantastic profit margin. Again, I found some things that I could flip, but if I'm not making at least double my money back or more, then I kind of leave it where it's at a lot of times. So I'm kind of rolling over here. I notice in this first booth over here a couple little things. This first thing I want to pick up here is this clutch, this old handbag. And let's see if I'm showing it very well. Yep, there it is. And it was made out of, it looked like some sort of, it's hard to see there, but lizard or alligator, something like that. It was some sort of a varmint skin. And it was actually really good condition. Those were popular back kind of heavily in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Well, look over here, and I instantly start seeing some stuff that's definitely antique, like a bunch of these old fishing reels. These were particularly Shakespeare brands, some Pfluger brands, and some of those brands can have models that are quite valuable. If you'll notice in the very bottom middle of the screen there, behind that little shot glass, there's a little box, a Pfluger box that had a reel in that. I'm looking at some of these fly reels because I personally am interested in those more than the regular fishing reels. These were in the range of $15 to $30. And as I looked them up online, that's roughly what they were going for. In some cases, slightly more. But again, I like to ship or place things on to sell with free shipping, and if I'm only going to turn $8 to $10, it's almost not worth my time because I'm pretty confident I can find something else that would sell decently. I didn't pick them up, but there were some little old crank drills down there. When I see old toolboxes or fishing boxes, I always like to open them up to see, are there lures inside? Are there antique tools inside? It's kind of like a treasure hunt. I pull this open, and as you can see, empty. Bummer. That's all right, though. I keep fishing around over to the side. I see a bunch of old glasses, a bunch of old... and this right here, this is a cool old toaster from the 1920s. If you see those little pins in the bottom middle, that's where the old cord would attach. And this is the kind of cord that was actually wrapped in some sort of, kind of a fabric. I got distracted by this bottle, but I did get that toaster. And we are at it again. Here we go. And now we're on to store number 3. Kind of rolled in and instantly started seeing some of this costume jewelry. Looking around. This place had a lot of like crafts and various stuff like that. So it wasn't the best. A lot of times I like stuff that's mostly just antiques, collectibles. That's really what I'm looking for. So when I see stuff that's mostly crafts or artisan-made stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the type of stuff that I'm most interested in. And as you can see, lots of hats, some outfits and stuff. But as you can see, I'm looking through some of this costume jewelry. Costume jewelry can sell really well. Just because it's not made out of precious metals or precious gemstones does not mean that there aren't people that want to buy it and wear it or collect it. There are certain types of designers like Listener and Kramer and Coro and all kinds, Trifari. There's lots that I look for that have some good value, and I'm talking like $15, $20, $30 or more. Some of the higher end ones that have actual semi-precious stones or glass stones, the heavier ones, those can sell for a lot of money. This was actually my favorite room that I was in because there were lots of instruments. I fancy myself an amateur musician at times. And so I like to see old instruments. In fact, that's the way I got started, was buying and selling old, newer, and then eventually older types of instruments, guitars, mandolins, banjos, and the like. This was a kind of cool, rustic-looking room. They had a bunch of little stuff, some old-school a sitar there, some old-school round-back mandolins. And then I happened to spy down below here an old Gibson. I believe this was a UB1. It's sort of like almost like a mandolin type banjo combo sort of thing. It had the four strings down there. They were wanting $750 for it. I looked it up, and they're selling for less than that online. So somebody was hoping that I would be smitten by the name Gibson and just go ahead and buy it. I almost tripped on my face there because of that bearskin rug on the ground. Then I saw this little dog sort of figurine here, quite large, quite heavy. It wasn't too expensive. I probably could have sold that and made a couple of bucks, but I wasn't terribly interested. Saw some Hummel figures in there, if you guys are familiar with those, kind of collectible. I think they wanted something like $60 for it. Not much there, so it's time to jump back in the car and head to the next place. Now I'm here, the very last place, and you know what? This place was gigantic. But it was so frustrating to me. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but you go in, there's all kinds of decent stuff, but it is just terribly expensive. It's either priced perfectly for online sales, or it's even higher than that. And you just kind of scratch your head thinking, are people really going to spend this? Certainly not me. But I spend a lot of time, I look at a bunch of tools here. I kind of roll through here, and I see various bottles, various figurines, glasses, stuff like that. And it wasn't that there wasn't stuff in here that I was interested in. But it just, they weren't the right prices. And I wanted to show you this, and I didn't want to cut it out. I wanted you to see, I go out to places all the time where I don't find anything at all. Either I'm not interested in it, or it just, is not something that's worth my time. So was kind of rolling through here. That was an old whiskey bottle. See what else I found here. There's a bunch of tools. I was really especially looking for hand planers. You know, I got into that big find recently of a bunch of old vintage tools and hand planers, and I was just I knew that they could go for good money, but I was almost floored just by the type of money that the amount of money that people are spending. This was a little old Stanley planer. It was quite nice. They wanted, I think, $39 for it, and that was roughly what they go for online. So there wasn't really much to make off of that. You got to kind of pair the amount of time you spend looking for stuff that you don't find with the stuff that you do find, because time is money. And I saw this case right here. Lots of nice little things there, some watches, some jewelry, some little pocket knives. And I kind of have a little list of stuff that I'm looking for, specific brands. But there wasn't really anything in this case that was serious enough for me to go ask for them to open it up. Let me take a look. So I kind of wanted to just show you, but if you see something in here that you think I missed, I certainly want to learn, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who have a lot more experience than I do. Well, guys, I had a full day, and I just wanted to leave you with a bunch of images, a couple of images here, of stuff that I end up getting. Unfortunately, I didn't have my video camera on to catch the moments that I found several of these things. I'll try to do a better job in the future, but I wanted you to see I didn't get out empty-handed. I didn't end up with that toaster. I ended up with a bunch of old vintage pens. Pens, you say? Well, yeah, old pencils and pens, particularly fountain pens, but also these old ballpoint pens that have advertisements from certain types of industries or different types of businesses. People collect those. I got this gigantic lot of pens for about $30. I'll do a video soon to kind of talk you through how to look for those, spot the good ones, and sell those. I also came across some old gold coins, California gold, $1/2 and $1/4, and they were priced so ridiculously cheap. I don't know what they were thinking. But wanted you to see I got a couple of things, and maybe I'll let you know when I sell them. Guys, if there's anything you liked in this video, please take a moment to subscribe and click that bell icon so you can be notified of new stuff. Take care, cousins.
This is Rusty. Oh, how'd you